Hello. This Sunday, we are going to read some really hard stories. They're stories about death. But surrounded in these stories of death, we hear about God's promise of new life. We hear from the prophet Ezekiel about the bones in the valley. And many of you may have heard the gospel song, Dem Bones, Dem Bones. This is what that song is about. It's about how God's promise is, even though these people passed away many years ago, and there's nothing but bones left, God breathes new life into them. And we're also going to hear the story about Martha and Mary and their brother Lazarus. Martha and Mary plead that Jesus come quickly because Lazarus is very sick. And Jesus makes his way to their house, but he doesn't make it in time, and Lazarus dies. And we hear how the sisters rail against Jesus. Lord, if only you would have been here, my brother would not have died. How often during times of tragedy, especially times of death, do we rail against God? God, where are you? Why did you not save my loved one? Lord, if only you would have been here, my brother would not have died. And Jesus goes on to explain that death is not the end. And certainly for Mary and Martha, they are given the opportunity to see the glory of God when Jesus calls Lazarus out of the tomb. And Lazarus comes out. But it is not the final resurrection. We have not yet made it to the victory over death, but we have been given a glimpse of God's power before Jesus goes to the cross. This Sunday we'll take a look at what death means for us, what death means to God, and how God's power will overcome death. I hope to see you in church on Sunday.